Have you ever been to a drive-in theater before? If you're older than me, there's a good chance you have. If you're my age, there's actually a good chance that you haven't. I'm lucky to have the chance to go occasionally, sometimes a few times a year, to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. They show old horror films, comedies, cult classics, all on 35mm film. It's incredibly cool there, just like the vibe, the love of movies, like I've always loved, like horror movies, B-rated horror movies, stuff like that. Everything about it is just really, really cool. If you're anywhere near it, I would advise you to go out of your way for a weekend, and heck, you can even camp or sleep in your car if you want to, pay the little extra, but it's so much better than having to drive home. They often do full weekend movie marathons where you're allowed to camp overnight in between showings, so like Friday to Saturday to Sunday, you can camp all 3 nights. The video for today is not necessarily movies I've seen at the drive-in, but rather movies that just give the vibe of being at a drive-in movies per se. These movies are made to be watched at 2 a.m. in your car, listening to the radio and watching the absolute biggest screen imaginable. With that in mind, I had to exclude some movies to kind of narrow it down to a manageable list, but I'll do a special honorable mentions list at the end, towards the end. Let's just get into it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a perfect example of a drive-in or grindhouse type movie. Historically, I think this movie combined with the next film we talk about probably dominated these types of markets. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is gritty, it's intense, it feels incredibly hot. It's one of those movies that feels like you shouldn't be watching it, and that this movie should be in the police files somewhere. Especially the later half of the movie where Sally Hardesty is running from the family the whole time. It is one of the darkest things I had seen when I saw it for the first time, and it's still one of the things that still makes me a little scared sometimes is this entire film. The tone of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the hardest things I've ever watched, as it feels like I shouldn't be watching the movie, and it perfectly fits that drive-in vibe. And also, the tone of the movie is why I don't think many sequels to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre have ever worked, but that is neither here nor there. I know people are going to say and talk about the second one, but I've never really watched it all the way through, so yeah. Night of the Living Dead is a great drive-in movie. Seeing this movie on the big screen would be one of the best examples of what a drive-in movie feels like. While it's not as much a grindhouse film like other films here, this movie, especially because it's in black and white, but the film, its emotion and tone, it's mixed between horror and action with the tense moments mixed in between. It feels like one of those movies that was purposely designed to be played at a drive-in. And it did for many, many years, and I mean it still does. I've seen this movie at the drive-in. That's why this movie deserves this spot. This is a perfect drive-in film. And I think one of my favorite aspects of Night of the Living Dead is it is so much more than just your average horror movie. There's a lot more under the surface, which I really, really love. Piranha is a fun movie. As I'm recording this, I can still hear and imagine the noises that the piranhas make as they are consuming the victims. Honestly, I love the movie. One of my all-time favorite movies is Jaws, and the way Piranha clearly takes inspiration from Jaws and attempts to replicate the fantastic way that Jaws builds tension with the shark, I love it. They try really, really hard to make the piranhas like intimidating and scary, but the noises they make are just like really, really hilarious to me. The other thing I find really funny and kind of makes me love Piranha is that the majority of the movie takes place in a resort, and how everyone just keeps swimming. Like, seriously, stop swimming, there's piranhas in the water. Why are you swimming? Maybe it's just my childhood fear of sharks being near me in the water that came from watching Jaws, but if I heard there could be man-eating fish in the water, well, you're gonna find me sitting on the beach, okay? The movie is campy and fun, and I had no idea I was going to love it as much as I ended up loving it. It's such a fun movie that I think would be an absolute blast to get together with friends and go watch at a drive-in for a relaxed and just like a fun movie night. Hearing the noises of the piranhas over the radios would crack me up. If you haven't seen it, I implore you to watch it. I picked Drive-In Massacre as one of the best drive-in movies because this movie was literally made to be played third in a rotation of drive-in films. The entire plot of Drive-In Massacre is, you guessed it, about a serial killer that goes around to people's cars at the drive-in and murders them. It's gritty, it's dark, and was it a tap on your back window? It's just a fun slasher movie, and yet everyone in the film is trying their hardest to make you downright terrified, and I love it. I can't spoil it mostly because I don't want to, but this movie has one of the best endings to a movie like this, and I so badly want to watch this movie at an actual drive-in. The ending of the movie is just one of those endings that, like, no matter what you do, it just takes you for a ride in such a fun way. For my honorable mentions, and also I really think I probably should have included Evil Dead actually in the list, but Evil Dead, American Graffiti, Animal House, Red Dawn, Jaws, Grease, and as many more. So here's the number one spot. Reanimator is the best drive-in movie for a few reasons. It combines science fiction, horror, with the comedy and love that old horror movies have for just trying something and seeing what sticks. For example, the scenes in this movie about trying to actually reanimate the body is one of those examples in sci-fi movies where I will genuinely buy into pretty much anything that a scientist says in a movie as long as they believe with their whole heart. And my God, Herbert West believes in his science with all his heart. To good reason, because it genuinely actually works. Reanimating the dead at 2 a.m. with 3 other cars at a drive-in is a perfect way to see this movie. I've actually seen this one at the Mahoning Drive-In as well, during a zombie movie marathon, and it blew the rest of the films away. Sitting outside in the cold breeze of late spring with the light of the projector bouncing off the evening dew set a crazy tone for this movie. So much so that I really could not take my eyes off it. Honestly, there was no mid-movie concession trips for Reanimator at all, because that is how great this movie is. So, thank you for watching. When was the last time you went to a drive-in? You should go again. There are surprisingly a lot of them alive and kicking, and in fact, some are even opening up, which is crazy to me. It's awesome. The drive-in is alive. Go back and live the drive-in life. Like and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below, and you can follow us. It's at MediaBiteCo on TikTok and at MediaBite Company on Instagram. If you want to help support us, you can go to the Patreon, which is patreon.com/MediaBite, for all kinds of fun extra stuff. Listen to all the podcasts on the podcast network. Thank you all, and I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.